The National Football League and gambling continues to be an issue, as now you have players who are basically coming out and saying, hey, if I would have known what really the problem was here, I never would have gambled. I mean, it's hysterical to listen to some of these guys. Mike Florio on NBC Pro Football Talk came out with this, and I respect Mike for what he does. He certainly knows his business. But in this, he comes out and he is basically covering. I'm trying to figure out who he's covering for here, basically, because he's hammering away at the league saying that they didn't do the job. So I guess he's covering up for the players, saying the poor players just didn't know what they were getting into.
I feel like the league treats this policy like so many employers treat their HR policies, the manual that you get. Anyone out there that has a job, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, you know that when you show up, they got all these forms you got to sign. They got these videos you have to watch. There's all these boxes you have to check. And for a lot of it, the employer just wants to be able to say, we've harvested the signature on the document that says the person has received the policy. We don't care if the person reads it. We don't care if the person understands it. We just need the person to sign at the bottom line, I have received, read, and understand the policy. So we can cover our ass, we can stick it in the file, and if anything ever happens, we can say, aha, but you wrote right here your name. You signed it at the bottom.
Right.
You read it and you understand it. Don't try to tell us you didn't do it. You signed that you read and you understand it. That's not the way to properly communicate an important policy to people. And I think what happened was in the past, the gambling policy just kind of got lumped in with everything else. And it wasn't the major blip on the radar screen that it should have been for players to truly read it, to truly understand it, to have the nuances communicated. And everything I see from the league about this, I've gotten a couple of different documents lately. There's nothing that draws the clear, bright line distinction that if you bet on a sportsbook app on your phone outside the facility, you're fine if it's a sport other than NFL football. If you do it the moment you walk through the door, you're going to get suspended 6 games. I've never seen that clearly spelled out.
Right.
In any of the documents I've received. So if it's not there, how do you expect players to know it? Unless they learn it through players getting whacked for it.
Gentlemen, what stunning bullshit. I mean, what do you want to do? Take it and write the gambling policy on the inside of the eyelids of the players and make sure that they know? Isn't there a personal responsibility here? Look, he's trying to say that the National Football League, a trillion-dollar organization, is not taking care of its basic assets and making sure that everybody is in the clear, doing everything they can to make sure that they follow the rules and keep the sport clean so they can make more trillions of dollars. I'm still trying to work this out here, guys, because the players need to have a level of responsibility. Here's the rule. You don't bet and you don't place bets while you're on the property of the National Football League franchise you work for. And there's other things you do. What's so tough? What's being missed here? And why is Mike Florio trying to hammer away at the NFL when I think they're doing everything they can in order to make these knuckleheads understand that if you screw up, you break the rules, you're out. And that's what I think needs to happen.
Well, punishment has certainly been swift and certain for the guys who faced it. And I think that's punishment works to the degree that it's clear that you're going to be punished for your actions. At the same time, I'm very uncomfortable with the degree the NFL has gotten into bed with gambling apps and all of that. I mean, I'm all for having legalized sports gambling, but simply the degree to which the NFL is promoting something that couldn't have been more taboo as recently as 10 years ago shocks me. And I'm very uncomfortable with it as a fan. I think it's almost inevitable that there were going to be what were at best slip-ups by players when the league has been so closely aligned with gambling so rapidly.
Hey, Pete, isn't that the biggest thing here? Because while the National Football League is telling players you can't gamble, they're in bed with them. They're making millions of dollars with the gamblers. So how do you cut that line here? I mean, it seems to me pretty solid. You can still do business with them, but the players can't bet on the games. It seems pretty obvious, Pete.
Let me go back to Mike real quick, and I don't disagree with any of you guys are saying, but I'm most surprised at Florio. The reason why I like Mike is because he tackles issues that ESPN and NFL Network refuse to go after. So even though he's kind of a hermit in West Virginia, doesn't leave his house except to go grocery shop or get a haircut. But a lot of times he tackles issues that are not on ESPN or NFL Network. I don't know where he's coming from with this. And I agree with you. This stuff from day one, I don't care what area you're in, they have seminars for all this. Starting with gambling, how to react with the media, how to take a shit. I mean, they lay it all out for you. Everything, seminars and flow charts and film strips to be old school. I mean, they do everything. I don't know how this stuff gets lost in translation at all. It's very simple. You have an app, you're in the facility, you're out of the facility. God forbid you're betting out. And then there's a story that came out a couple of days ago. One athlete, apparently one football player, lost over $8 million. So far, we've seen some of these parlay bets, $25, $50, $1,500 loss here, nothing, $8 million. And if what happens with the Colts, if that comes to fruition where he's betting on his own team, then I think
well, see, and that's the whole point here, Pete. You nailed it.
The message is clear. The message is right there. I don't know where Florio's coming off saying it's not there in documents. I've seen the rules laid out. I've seen NFL document. It's right there. Don't do it. So the players have to take the brunt of the responsibility. They know exactly. And the other thing is, as I've said before, if you're an NFL player, even if you're dumb enough to want to bet on your own team, but say you're not, say whatever, you want to call up your uncle's best friend's mom, have her place the bet. Why are you putting your name? Why are you not 4 times removed from this scenario? There's other people that can place the bet for you.
It's so easy with these little devices.
Books are tracking football players.
But hang on, Clayton. I think that's where you're wrong, because if you use this, if you're player A and you're using this, it's traceable. I mean, I think that's what Pete's saying here now. Don't place the bet. Go to your wife's brother's, son's, uncle's father,
and I understand that.
And have him place the bet.
That it's just like a video game, though. I mean, I think if you have this thing, it's the forbidden fruit. Don't eat me, don't eat me. All of a sudden, you just press one button. You can bet a little money on the game. Even though there's a million things telling them not to, you have this little immediate device where you can place these bets right here. It's the temptation, I'm sure, is incrable. I'm not saying
that's just it. The temptation is there, but you're a grown man. We're dealing with grown. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let me stop. I wanted to say that we're dealing in the National Football League with grown men, when many times, Pete's been around him as well, we know guys who are in their 30s who have the IQ of a 9-year-old. I mean, that's just the way it is in professional sports. Not everybody is very smart. But you're still dealing with people who are told, don't do this. And all they want to do is push the envelope, and we still have these knuckleheads who believe that I'm a professional football player. I can get away with anything. Yeah, I can bet, and they're not going to do anything. I can knock around my girlfriend in a hotel elevator somewhere in Las Vegas. I can go ahead and get drunk as shit and go out and nail somebody in a car in a vehicular accident, and I can get away with it. It's all that part of it. They believe they can get away with it, and they're stupid. I can't think of any other word.
I mean, there's 50 guys at every team. We're talking about a couple of guys who, and I'm all for punishing guys who do stuff, but it's okay. I mean, I think having these very strong punishments for this is the way to go, though. I mean, you see somebody losing a prime year in their career like Ridley's going to, it's going to make people think twice before doing it, hopefully. But
exactly. I think well, how about this? And I think, Pete, I think Clayton's got a point here, and I've espoused this as well. If you break the rules on gambling, holy shit, please don't anybody bring up Pete Rose. Let's not go there. If you break the rules on gambling as we have set it out, you're out. A year. No pay, 0, end of story. And if you start there, Pete, I think that would make a difference. Well, not to everybody, but at least it will start, because you got to punish these idiots because they're too stupid to be allowed to play in the National Football League.
Well, if you're betting on your own team, then I agree with you. I think you're going to be gone for a year and maybe longer. I mean, outside of that, so far, I think, I hate saying it, the commissioners handled the suspensions fairly reasonable. 6-day game. But this particular one with Indianapolis, I mean, if that's true, that's a whole different ballgame. You get caught betting on your own team, you might be banned for life. At least a year minimum, if not longer. That's a serious, egregious offense. You get caught betting on your team one way or the other. That cannot happen in the NFL.
Can we agree, though, that with what we heard from Florio, I don't know who he's covering for, and I don't know why he's trying to make excuses for the players here.
I'm shocked. That's not his style usually. He's usually the one to expose all that a lot of times. So I don't know.
There's something going on here, and I have no clue what's happening here. But for Florio to come out and basically say that the league isn't doing the job right and the players deserve a second chance or a break here, I'm trying to think.
Phil's rebuttal. I didn't hear Phil Sims' rebuttal. I mean, Chris
Yeah.
Sims' rebuttal to him. So I don't know if
How
he
does he
got
look
old
older
before.
than his dad now? I swear Chris Sims is 10 years older than Phil Sims is now.
He's always kind of looked older than his dad. Look, his dad. When you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback, plastic surgery comes easy for just about everybody because you make the money.